Pelosi versus MNUCHIN. Is there a version of Pelosi and a version of MNUCHIN that you're being shown publicly that is different than what's behind closed doors? Are they telling you one narrative that is totally different than the real narrative of what they're working on? And why do we see something different every few minutes from Pelosi than minutes before? Is MNUCHIN on this scheme as well? Is this basically a scheme to lead you on to think that something's going to happen when it really is not, to get all of them reelected? This is a bombshell and a shocker on this afternoon's recording of Pelosi versus MNUCHIN. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Pelosi versus MNUCHIN with really one of the most shocking recordings you're going to see of Pelosi versus MNUCHIN. I hope you've tuned in well, and I hope you didn't miss McConnell versus Trump right before this, because that one was a shocker. Additionally, go to Friends channel, subscribe, because you're going to be surprised what I'm going to tell you in this recording. Make sure you also hit the alert button so you get an alert when a new video goes live. Also, like this video. In this video, I'm going to be going over what really might be going on between Pelosi and MNUCHIN that they're not telling you. Next, I'll be going over their numbers, why they don't tell you numbers. 3, I'll be going over where Purple Power should focus on, because ultimately a bunch of people who don't tell you numbers are not a bunch of people that you want to support. And finally, will there be a vote? Will there be a law? Or will there just be a lot of hot air? Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that Nancy Pelosi has given us a lot of hot air this week. She started the week by telling you there was a 48-hour deadline, used the word of deadline, said, I don't think there'll be any a law before the election unless we have an agreement within 48 hours. And then when 48 hours came, she said there was never any such deadline. You misquoted me. No, they didn't misquote you. Then, yesterday, she said, I think a deal is imminent, very close. We're near the end. We've changed the course. We turned the corner. 48 hours from now, there will be a deal. She had another 48-hour statement. Well, today she says, it'll be coming in a couple days. A what? Then, all this week, she said they've been working on the language. And today she says, we're getting close on the language, so maybe we'll start working on writing the bill. What have you been writing the last 7 days? I've been working on the language. What language for what? A romance novel? Poetry? What language have you been working on? I'm losing it here because I can't keep this straight face of these stories. I've been working on your language. What language? I thought you were writing the bill. She now says it would take a couple of weeks to write the bill. What? I can't with these people. I'm sure you can't with them either. So at this point, whether it's imminent or writing language or close or near you or closer, I think everyone's just sort of sick of it. Everyone's just sort of sick of it and at this point believes that there is no deal. But let me turn to something a little bit more obvious than that. The vote. The law. You need a vote and a law. You need a vote to become a law, and you need a bill on the floor with a vote to become a law. So do these people really want you to have a law, or do they want you just to have a really nice series of press releases that are much of nothing? Here's my opinion. I don't think they want you to have a law. I don't think they want you to have a law before Election Day. Nancy Pelosi said yesterday she's hoping you get your November rent. Nancy, it's October 22nd. That's 8 days from now. How do you think you could get the rent to me in 8 days from now? It's just, when was the last time you rented something other than, a Ferrari to drive around Italy? Rent? So, will they give you a law? At the 4-minute mark, I'm showing you the whole video right now. I don't think they're going to give you a law before Election Day. That's my personal opinion as I sit here today. It could be a different opinion tomorrow. But as I sit here today, I see that McConnell, Trump, Pelosi, MNUCHIN are all saying one version to you publicly that I really, at this point, don't believe is their private opinion. first. I don't think Trump wants to give you a law before Election Day because he doesn't want to give a stimulus package to Joe Biden if Joe Biden wins. Do you think he wants to help his opponent? No. No opponent wants to do that. Joe Biden says, do you think Joe Biden would want to give a stimulus package to Donald Trump? Absolutely not. Okay, how about McConnell? I'll do him last because he's the most complicated. Pelosi. Do you think Pelosi wants to give a stimulus package before Election Day night? No. Trump has really almost nothing positive going for him except economic news. And so a stimulus deal would basically give Trump exactly what 63% of Americans want right now, which is a stimulus deal. She would give Trump exactly what he needs. He doesn't need momentum in Pelosi's eye, and that's momentum to pick up from Joe Biden. He's picking up about 1 percentage point a week, so that could narrow this election with 2 weeks to go. Third, do you think Mnuchin wants to do a deal? I have never seen that Mnuchin's at 2.2 trillion. So, where is Mnuchin? He's at 1.895, 1.85. That's not 2.2. Does Mnuchin tell us he's at 2.2? No. Does Mnuchin tell us he's gone higher? No. Does Mnuchin issue press releases about anything? No. The reason why is because Mnuchin generally doesn't want to lie. So he just doesn't tell you what's going on. Finally, McConnell. Mitchie. What does Mitchie want to do? Mitchie does not want a vote before Election Day for 3 reasons. One, a vote would cause some Republicans in the Senate to vote for it and some vote against it. That split of a vote by his own party members would cause the Senate to go Democratic because everyone see some Republicans don't really care about us, but others do. It would also cause the president to lose the election because ultimately it would look like a couple of Republicans don't support the president's own bill. And so as you sit here today, it's like, well, obviously Mitch doesn't want to have this as a vote. He'll have it as a vote the day after the election if what he thinks happens. Mitch thinks the Senate is going to retain Republican and that the presidency is still undecided as we sit here about 2 weeks away. So with that, is there going to be a vote before the election with Mnuchin versus Pelosi? I don't think so. Mnuchin and Pelosi have not given you their numbers. They simply have categorically not told you their numbers. And so for people to say, we're close, we're getting closer, we're closer, we're imminent, we're down the street, we're around the corner, we're next to you, we're just, move on over, we're right there. Okay, what are the numbers? Does this sound familiar? It should. The reason why this should sound familiar, it happened in July. Remember in July, those 2 weeks in which Steve and Nancy negotiated, and after 2 weeks, we won every single day. We said, where are they at? What are the numbers? Where are they at? What are the numbers? After 2 weeks, she said, congratulations, we don't have a deal. And, we're very far apart. Okay, you got nowhere in 2 weeks? It's very possible that these people have not reached fundamental deal points on fundamental issues. They may not have an agreement on stimulus checks. They may not have agreement on FPUC. They may not have an agreement on state and local. They may not have agreement on hazard pay, or maybe it's back in there, or maybe it's not in there. What's ironic about these people is they say there are a lot of issues. There are some issues we got to get to. They don't tell you the issues. Once in a while, they'll tell you state and local is not agreed upon, but they don't tell you if they've reached an agreement with stimulus check. They literally just do not tell you. So does that mean you have an agreement on stimulus check? How much is the amount? They don't tell you if Mnuchin reached an agreement on FPUC. In fact, it's as though they don't want you to know on purpose. What you need to sit here, as we sit here at the 8-minute mark of this video, is Purple Power. This is why you can't be guided by the games of Washington. You need to push, because ultimately these people must tell you where the deal offers are. They need to tell you what they're offering. And if it's not a good offer, you need to say, hey, this ain't good. I'm going to get Mitch and his group to say, hey, reject this. Pelosi wants to give everyone a $300 check for the last 8 months of the pandemic because that's going to crush the virus. Mitch, you on the phone? Tell Pelosi, go jump in the lake. I'm not accepting $300 stimulus check. What is this stimulus check? I mean, this is just, you see how these things work? The fact that there is no vote, the fact that there is no law, does not mean that you have to co-sign any crapola you see from Mnuchin and Pelosi, because ultimately, it may be crapola, What's important to understand as we sit here this afternoon stay with me, I've got some more stuff coming up, is that Pelosi and Mnuchin will have a deal offer. That's not to say you have to accept the deal offer. You can demand more. How much more can you demand? When you can demand it? When are the time frames to demand it? And how are you going to demand it? First, what's important to understand is demanding more money is not the same as the executive orders. That's a separate recording. I've done a lot of executive order coverage today in Afternoons LA. What I'm talking about is Mnuchin Pelosi negotiations. Second, what's important to understand is when we say more money for stimulus, it's the deal items. Tag Pelosi, tag Mnuchin, tag Meadows. Say, where are you at in the negotiations? I'm Purple Power. Are you at $300 stimulus checks? Are you at $400 a week FPUC? Are you at $900 a week FPUC? Where are you at? This is what's a proper amount of money. Now, what should you be able to ask for? You can ask for anything you want. It's a free country. What's a logical amount to ask for? Well, first of all, for FPUC, anything over $400 is logical to ask for. Second, the time frame should be retroactive to late July. That's when FPUC 1.0 expired. Second, you should ask for FPUC into a large part of 2021. Someone dropped a really good comment. I've been saying a lot of times that FPUC should not expire on December 31st, should not expire on January 1st. Someone said even January 15th is not enough. Carry it further. You can do that as well. Stimulus check. The stimulus check should be a bigger amount. It shouldn't be $1,200. It shouldn't be $500. Ultimately, these people have not been loyal to the American people. They've been loyal to themselves. A new report out today from CNN says Treasury Secretary is a one-man show in the negotiations right now. After months of negotiations where Mark Meadows was pulled into the talks, it's now down to just two people. Remember, they're just a few billion off when $2.2 trillion was light years away from a $500 billion proposal, but now they're in close. Senator Mitt Romney of Utah this week said he wouldn't even envision supporting something like that. To say the Republicans don't trust Mnuchin might be an understatement. Republicans watching this negotiation have bemoaned over the last several days that every time they turn around, it feels like Mnuchin has given Pelosi a key concession. Ask about what Republicans are getting in return. One GOP aide said they're still waiting to hear. Quote, he's been very good because he's got a decent working relationship with the speaker, and he's about that only one. Obviously, the president's aiming higher than we should. I don't know if it's about trust as much as there isn't an agreement. What people are now saying, that I've been saying for weeks, is that people are not involved in the negotiations. Yeah, I talked about the last few days where other people are involved in drafting the laws, but when it comes to the numbers, a lot of people feel like they are left out. Remember, Mitt Romney is a person who had a standalone bill for hazard pay, not encompassed into the bill. And so what may ultimately happen is that on Monday, aides struggled to understand what exactly Pelosi and Mnuchin had decided on when it came to rental assistance. As of Tuesday, there still wasn't much clarity. Okay, shockers here. GOP leaders in the Senate still believe that Pelosi and Mnuchin, despite all happy talk, are still very far from pulling this off. Aides involved and familiar with these negotiations say that there's still vital chunks of information that's missing. That might explain why we have no information. I just can't. That's CNN, those reports. Let me go over some incredible comments from yesterday. Arudal, it ain't Christmas, folks. Details, not surprises. If I don't like my president, you won't get my votes. I love that. Denise, these people in the Senate, House, Nancy's worse. Leonel, forget the voting. Lynn, when we get $1,200, that's going to be in one day. We need multiple stimulus checks. Misty, look at Town Hall. Denise, $1,200 won't cut it, won't even come close. NA, will we expect anything else from frickin' frack? Dreamweaver, Afternoon LA and the Purple Power family. This is crazy. They really need to get this done. It's taking too long. They think we're stupid. What do they think we are? Born yesterday? Shaking my head. Lycra, we love the Purple family. Standing together. Love you, LA. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Go to the front of the channel, subscribe, because we're going to get through this together. There's a lot of twists and turns. You see how unraveling it is. We're trying to ravel it up, put it together, and make sure it's very clear. If you did not watch my little surprise earlier today, I said, I think it was on Mornings LALATE, or no, it was the 28th, that I said, hey, with Halloween coming up, I'm very worried that a lot of children across the country won't be able to celebrate Halloween for a lot of different reasons, including the pandemic, including lockdowns, including ordinances that don't allow them to go door to door for trick-or-treating, including some families that may not have money for trick-or-treating for Halloween. So in my own spirit, I'm going to be dressing up for Halloween several days close around Halloween so that you can have your children tune into this recording. I'll keep the recording clean. It will be children friendly. I won't use any, cow jokes that are compromising. I won't be dressed as a cow. No, I do not have a cow costume. And I'll dress up in some costume so that we can have some fun together doing that holiday spirit. Go to the front channel, subscribe. Subscribe because this is a community you want to be with. This is where you want to be and this is where you want to stay. Also, like this video. Coming up next is Evenings at LALATE. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay of LA for more.